Welcome back to Sister to Sister. My name is Tiffany. My sister's name is Talisha, and I am here to talk about my miscarriage journey. Now, my sister did part one of her miscarriage journey, and she talks about her healing process and how the miscarriage encouraged her and changed her walk in relationship with God. So I'm here to talk about my miscarriage journey, which is part two. So let's talk about it. So when you think of miscarriage, you think just a whole bunch of emotions hit you. You're lost. You don't know why it happened. You have so many questions, and this may be the most painful experience that you could ever go through. So I'll never forget, we finally get our positive pregnancy test. And if you go back to our previous episode, you understand that my infertility journey was years. It took us forever to get pregnant. We got second opinions. We went to different infertility clinics. We had to travel far, but we finally got our positive pregnancy test. And so not only were we were pregnant with twins, a boy and a girl. And so I'll never forget, we wanted to announce it to our family. And so we went to a restaurant to celebrate because was my birthday week. And so I'll never forget, me and Kent came up with a little gift at the last minute. It was a t-shirt that says eating for three. And so we're passing gifts around, and so I open Kent's gift and I lift up the t-shirt and it says eating for three. And so I'm showing my family and they're looking like, what is this? I know Kent didn't get you a t-shirt for your birthday. And they're just looking around, and I had to explain to them, I'm pregnant, guys, and I'm pregnant with twins. And so just the jumping, the screaming in the restaurant, I thought we were going to get kicked out, seriously. And just the joy, we were all on cloud nine. So that happened. And then we go to church. And so we like, yeah, let's tell the good news. Because not only was our family praying, close church members, family, friends, the whole world was praying for me and Kent. And so when we get to church, we are shouting, we are praising God for our miracle that's on the way. And God just didn't bless us with one, He blessed us with double. So I mean, all of us, the whole world is on cloud nine. And so not even 2 weeks later, I miscarried. And so I am at home, and I feel light cramping, but I didn't think nothing of it. I go to use the bathroom and my water breaks. I'm screaming to Kent, Kent, we got to go to the hospital. We got to go to the emergency room. We get to the emergency room, and that's where they confirmed that I lost my baby boy. Mind you, my twins were in different sacks. So I immediately go into mama mode, and I'm like, okay, what are we going to do for baby girl? How are we going to save baby girl? And so the doctor's like, there's no saving. We're going to take her from you. And I didn't like that answer. I definitely was not that didn't satisfy me. That wasn't going to be the answer for me. And so that just shows you healthcare, and that's just a whole nother topic to discuss. But we end up getting discharged. And so the next day, we go into the next day, and I miscarry baby girl. And so where do I go from here as a believer? I want to believe like there's hope after this, but how? How did this happen to me? I had so many questions. I mean, questions after questions. Why me? Why for so many years, just going year after year of just going through infertility? the pain that I'm going through. I finally get my blessing. Not blessed with one baby, but two babies. And I got my blessing snatched from me. That's how I felt. I felt like a baby, a child with a lollipop, and it gets snatched from you. And I just cried. I moped. And if you ever seen the movie Get Out, where the lady is like with her teacup and she's twirling that teacup around, that's all you hear. And the guy is like in a trance and he's in a black space. That's where I was. You couldn't tell me nothing. I couldn't see nothing. All I knew is my blessing was gone. My babies were gone. That's the only thought that was going through my head. And so not only was I suffering and grieving, COVID hits. The very next week, COVID hits. And so where you think you're able to go to church to get the encouragement or people come to you for encouragement, that all ended because everything was on lockdown. So I'm here in my home and I'm like, this can't be the end of my story. I know this was prophesied to me. Like, people have been praying for years for us. I've been praying, like, God, this can't be the end. And I'll never forget taking my journal, taking a pen, taking my Bible, and I'm like, God, I'm coming to you. I'm not never leaving this place until you give me my answers. I'm just coming from an honest place. God, you got to get me through this. You got to help me through this. Like, this can't be it. And so I didn't hear from God the first day. I didn't hear from him the second day. I didn't hear him the third day, but that fourth day, he began to speak to me and I felt a release. And God said, you remember all them years you were praying for your infertility journey to end? And my story is like Hannah's. Like, God, I believe God shut my womb because he was working on some things in my life. And then as God was peeling off some layers in my life, I also, in my prayers, I vowed to God. I said, God, if you bless me with these babies, if you bless me with one baby, God, I promise I'll tell the world. I'll tell everybody I run into about your goodness, about your how great you are, God. I'll glorify you. And I'm making all these promises. I'm vowing to God. And then God gives me that blessing. And what do? My mouth is shut. And God said, okay, since you're not doing my will, you're not going according to my way, I have to release my hands off of you, Tiffany. And so after going through that, I realized my relationship was not where it needed to be with God. And no, I am no perfect believer. I still struggle. There's still going to be tests and trials, but I approach things different now. Like, because I couldn't run to anyone, I could call people, but I couldn't run to anyone. And I didn't run to anyone. I needed God. And I didn't go to God. That was not my first posture. That was not my first position. I just was at a standstill and I stayed there for a while. It took me a lot. It took me a while to get out of that dark space. So when I finally got out, I said, God, okay, I got to approach things different. I got to say things different. I got to believe different. And so I'll never forget, we were at a dinner table and my husband is the type of person that he say, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. And I didn't like that answer, but we were sitting at the table and we were having dinner and he said, Tiff, let's try again. Let's try for another baby. And I'm like, oh God, is this confirmation? Like, okay. And I'll never forget, during, I believe, Christmas, I finally get a positive pregnancy test. And this, the joy. And I make sure that my vow that I did this time was going to come to pass. And so I'll never forget, we had another scare. We got pregnant. had another scare where I was bleeding, and you'll hear my sister talk about it in her segment. And she talks about how God used her miscarriage to move her into a prayer position where she's just praying for everything. And so I get home, and my sister's like, I'm on my way. I want you to tell your doctor that you're on your way to him to see him, but I'm on my way to do what I got to do. And she prayed over me and Ken, and I don't know where she got that bottle of oil from, but she prayed, she laid hands on it, and she said, girl, I'll talk to you later, and left. And so I went to the doctor and everything was okay. So I was able to carry Kenton Jabbar Jones Jr. full term. And what a day it was when we made that announcement that we were pregnant. I just handled things different. And I knew that, you know, I remember back in the day where people would share their testimony and how it meant for others. And God said, how dare you not want to share your testimony of where I brought you to? And so that's why I'm using this platform to encourage someone that God will remember you. You may not have the hope right now. You might be still getting that negative pregnancy test. The doctors may tell you that it's impossible, because that's what I was told. So I am here if it's just one person, if it's 10 people, if it's 20 people, if it's 50 people. I'm here to tell you that God is not a God that will lie to you. He will remember you. And I remember just going in his word and just dissecting it. And it's just so funny. Well, it's not funny, but as believers, how it takes lessons for us to learn. Like I was a hard-headed Christian. I'm just coming from an honest place. I was a hard-headed Christian. Now, will another test come? Will another trial come? Yes. But now I know how to position myself when it comes to God. Like I even read in First Peter chapter 5, where it says, Christians are not exempt to suffer. We will suffer, but how will we suffer in the suffering? And God says in his word, we will only suffer for a while. So he has our best interest. And so I just want to encourage someone that may have gone through a miscarriage and you're just having a difficult time. I am here with you. I am rocking with you. And I'm praying for you, because this journey is tough. But I just want to let you know to remember that you are tough also. God will remember you. And until next time, please stay encouraged. Keep believing. And I love you. Don't forget to hit that like and share button. And don't forget to subscribe. Till next time. Bye.